Thank you so much for watching, listening. Totally stoked to have you here today. And we're starting a new series, kind of a little bit of a part 2, Flip the Switch. And I like this idea because flipping the switch is the idea that maybe there's a plot and you expect it to go a certain way and it twists, right? It's like, whoop, I didn't see that coming. That's not what I expected. And we're going to continue to look at this in a couple of different scenarios, particularly with Jesus. And I was thinking about this as it relates to Jesus, his ministry on earth, his time on earth. And I kind of took a deep dive looking at like the last week when he was in a physical existence here. And so that last week is an interesting week to look at because the beginning of the week, we call it Palm Sunday, triumphal entry into Jerusalem. And Jesus is coming in there. And here's the scenario. When he walks in, he doesn't actually walk, he rides on a donkey. And there's this giant outpouring of celebration, enthusiasm, honoring and worshiping, exalting Jesus. And it says in Luke chapter 19 that his disciples, and it's the idea not just of the 12 disciples, but like a whole plethora, crowd of his disciples, were exalting and celebrating and honoring Jesus, putting their coats on the road and palm branches and Hosanna in the high, I mean, all this. And it's interesting because for myself, I'd like to consider that I'm a disciple of Jesus. I love Jesus, and I think Jesus more than hung the moon, so to speak. However, the script was flipped because 5 days later, you can read about it. In Mark, it says that all of his disciples left him. They abandoned him, left Jesus, because there was so much tension and conflict and everything was culminating into this bad trajectory. And I think the disciples were like, woo, we're out, we're scared. And if we're around him, guilty by association, looks like he's gonna get, arrested. And his behavior is, like he's aggressive and assertive and confrontational. He went in the temple and cleared. So his disciples were like, we're out. And I think it's interesting to see that flip script. And it flipped in a bad way. They were all, celebrating and respecting and worshiping him. And 5 days later, they're not. They're abandoning him. And I think it's interesting because I think as humans, we can often be fickle. We find ourselves, and I like a fair weather fan, like for Denver, we're the Broncos. And there are times when I'm like, whoop, if they're winning, yay. If they're losing, I don't pay attention. But I don't want to just be a sports enthusiast with Jesus. I want to be an authentic, holy, faithful follower of Jesus. And so when we think about flipping the script, let's evaluate our own mindset, our own behaviors, and let's consider if Jesus doesn't do what we want him to do, doesn't do what we expect, or if Jesus does things that we didn't expect, let's be careful that we don't jump ship and abandon and say, oh, I'm out. Let's be faithful and let's keep a faithful script and following with Jesus, no matter what happens or what doesn't happen. And so I want to just thank you so much for subscribing, for watching. Hit the little bell right there, notification bell, to keep you posted when we have new content. And I know normally I'm putting the joke at the front. Today I messed up, so we're going to do it here at the end, but we'll start with a joke probably next time. And here's your joke, because these are fantastic. And I know I have a question for you as well. And I want you to think about this after. No, wait, I'm going to give you the question first because, you might be like cutting off when you hear the joke because they're pretty bad. So here's the question I have for you. Have you ever had a time in your life when you were fickle with Jesus and you kind of said, I'm out? Have you ever had a time? Answer that question. And I know that's kind of a little bit tender or like careful, awkward maybe even, or uncomfortable. But I think it's a good question to think about because again, we want to flip the script and remove the fickle. So that's something for you to answer. And I really appreciate that feedback. It helps me, number one, evaluate, and also number two, it's great for our channel. So here's your joke, and next week is going to be way better. We know that already. I once swallowed a book of synonyms, and it gave me the sorest throat I've ever had. thesaurus. Get it? Book of Synonyms, thesaurus. All right, I know. Next week is going to be significantly better. Thanks so much.